We commune in the spirit of beauty. We talk about skincare. We talk about tips, tools, products. We talk about life. I'm going to sit up here and yap a little bit. Sometimes we talk about hair, which is what we're going to get into today. I'm going to show you a new styling tool that I've been working with. This is Palo Santo, just to get the vibes right. And I'm just gonna yap about some things that's on my mind. Turn down service is also it's our commitment, to doing something special for ourselves at least once per week. No matter what you gotta do. I don't care if it's a long shower. I don't care what it is. Um, do something for you. Just something special for yourself. Get into it. Okay, so today is wash day. I've gone over some of the products that I use in my hair before. I'm gonna show it to you again really quickly, but I've already kind of pressed out my hair, and I'm going to be adding some volume into it with um this thermal roller here, something new by Amika that I have been using, and I like it. I like it real good. It gives you that round brush vibe. So, we get a little Santa Barbara going on. Um, Catching up just a little bit. I know it's almost like the year just started. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I'm still really trying to get into the swing of things. And we're into March. But, we hop on here when we can. We're still committed to the process, committed. Um, I am living life, offline a lot more. I've been talking about that. And sis is just busy. She's trying to get her money. She's trying to stick to a strict program. And you know what? I don't even have my hair stuff in here because it's in the kitchen where I was shampooing my hair. So anyway, I've already shampooed, conditioned, blow dried, pressed out the roots. Okay. Um, and I'm getting ready to use this styling tool, like I said, to add a little bit of volume. I'm getting to the point, especially here in New Orleans, where the weather is starting to heat up. It's getting a lot more humid. I'll probably be rocking a lot more braids this summer, but we're starting to get to that point where the hair swells. And I'm perfectly okay these days with not having bone straight hair. I tend to kind of leave it wrapped up a lot of the time during the week, working from home, all that good stuff. So yeah. I also last week before last, um, I just remember too it's daylight savings time. So we have a little bit more sunlight here. But anyway, last week I went to Charlotte. I traveled to check in for work and to check in on my mom and my stepfather. Um, Work was fine. It was good. I got a laser facial while I was there. And so I'm still in the healing process from that. We used a Pico Shore laser, and it really helps to break up pigmentation, build collagen back into the skin, as someone like myself who is going to be turning 45. um you know Things start to look more like their age, which is perfectly okay. But I want to look the best I possibly can. And I hadn't had one of those laser facials in a very long time. Um, so it was good. So this is about a week out. And what tends to happen is the pigment will actually darken first because it's kind of breaking up and spreading out. And then it will kind of come up and out of the skin. So I can't wait to see in 3 weeks what my skin is looking like. I'm trying to definitely document the process. Um, in the meantime, I've really been using a pretty gentle skincare routine. I'm just getting back to using some of my actives like vitamin C because it's been a good 7 days. But I do plan to kind of break that down into a more longer form piece for you guys in case anybody out there is interested in how a brown skin girl should take care of her skin post treatment, in particular with lasers. So, um, so yeah, we're not doing the skin today. I'm just, like I said, adding this volume to my hair. You can see, I'm just kind of rolling it. This barrel is actually kind of large for the length of my hair. So it's not going to give me too much curl. It's just going to kind of, like I said, add volume and give a little more bend and swing to it. Um, but if I wanted actual curls, I would definitely have to use more like a curling iron. But like I said, I love this for adding volume. And like I said, just giving that nice, just fresh blowout look. Like I did it with a round brush. Because that's basically what it is. And it does not, when I bought it, I thought that it was more like a blow dryer. So it does not blow dry. It just does it with the heat. Like I said, almost like a curling iron, but with this round brush. I don't like to do it completely like fresh off the blow dryer. Baby, baby, that's what we talking about. See the volume? I know you see it. I know you see it. Right, right, right. And I don't have a whole lot of product in my hair right now. Um, yeah. So anywho, back to what I was saying. So let me just kind of go over my trip to Charlotte and just talk about some things that are on my minds as I go through this process. So it was, I think the last time I was on here with y'all, I was telling you that my mom's birthday was coming up. And she has been very excited. It is a milestone birthday for her. My mom just turned 80 years old. She looks great for her age. She's very healthy for her age. She's doing really well physically. Um, she and I have a tumultuous relationship. I've talked about this many times on this platform. And it's interesting because this morning, and I do my best, to look at it as positively as I can, especially since I lost my dad. But it definitely has its strained moments. And this trip was definitely one where that strain came to an intolerable point. I ended up having to leave the house um, earlier than intended and really didn't get to do anything for her birthday. Um, I put a question on Threads earlier today asking people how their mothers handled the parts of them that were not like her. And that, I mean, you'd be there earlier, maybe what, 2, 3 hours ago, it was up to 12.7K views on that post. I really didn't expect to get as many answers and responses to that. And there's a mixture, some people have had really positive experiences. Some people, like myself, have had very tumultuous experiences. And some of y'all also may know and remember how I put out that question, what did mom teach you about beauty? So I think that this is on track with all of that because that's just a consistent dialogue, that I like to have. Just because I didn't have the best experiences with my mother and still struggle, even at 45, sometimes we need the representation of all walks of life and people who've had more positive experiences. Um, they're just not linear, they're not all the same. Um, but for those who are not really aware of abuse dynamics, I do find that a lot of people are not really trauma informed. And if they haven't had any experiences, um, in particular with mothers that are strained, it's very hard for them to relate to people who have, like myself. And so I just wanted to kind of give an example of what happened and just talk through it. So my mother said something really nasty to me that she knows is it's very hurtful. It has to do with situation with my father. And my father's gone. Like, and the situation is past. It had to do with finances, blah blah blah. She said something out the way. I addressed it. At first, I was just trying to let it slide. I knew that my mind was starting to ruminate, like go over and over and over what she said. Um, and she was just on the phone, yapping with another family member of mine. And I thought to myself, see, this is how this happens. She says something mean. Um, I'm tossing and turning, can't hardly go to sleep, just playing over her words that are not even true. It's her narrative. It's not my narrative. And it's going over and over in my mind. So I decided I would, instead of just sitting there, you know, internalizing everything, I would go in there, I would address it and talk to her. Um, and that did not go well. It did not go well. Um, but I was proud of myself for addressing it. I did not get nasty back with her. I was just telling her, how I felt, um, and how hurtful, this situation is. And furthermore, if she thinks so if she thinks so low, of me, then why does she want to have me around? You know? And that's the thing about abuse is people feel entitled to just jerk your emotions up and down. it's abusing something. It's not using it with care. It's not, you're not handling, a person you love with care at all. And so the next day, um, we didn't speak. She took me to work, which I appreciated because she didn't have to do that. And I did tell her thank you. Um, Even was prepared and tried to take an Uber. My mom didn't mind doing that. So there was no like me being entitled to her time or anything. But, and there was nothing said throughout the whole trip. So what I did, I was supposed to leave the next morning. I decided to reschedule and I went ahead and left that evening because the difference now as an adult who has their own money, their own time, their own autonomy, sovereignty, I don't have to do that. I don't have to subject myself and be in places where I feel abused. I feel unwanted. I feel disrespected. I feel just not, you know, I don't I don't feel those things when I'm not around her. I don't feel like I question me being a good person and I know that I'm a good person. I don't I'm not around here doing crazy stuff. I'm just not. And I have may not always be, executed, but the best of intentions and I'm out here just living my life, trying to not asking anybody for anything. I get up, I work hard, I know who I am, I know what I'm doing. And if my own mother doesn't think highly of me, then so be it. You know, the reality is she doesn't really know who I am, which is why I tend to have such an issue with whoever tends to be on this platform and sharing uh, this content with her. I choose not to share these things with her for a reason because it will be weaponized at some point because she does not know how to not do that. I don't think she does these things intentionally, but that is my truth. And I am so tired of being in that space with her. I don't think it will change before she leaves this earth. And that's okay. Um, I have learned how to protect myself. And I've also come to the awareness, firm awareness that other people in my family who are connected to her, who hear her narrative of me through her, like they they don't know me either. They're also kind of complicit. There was a time when I told family members that she was emotionally abusive and nobody did anything. As that happens. They're not entitled. They don't have to. They don't have to do anything. But you know, I'm going to. I care about me, so I'm going to save myself. And so that is, what happened. Um, in reflection, I'm so proud of myself for not stooping down to her level. These arguments in the past used to get very heated, very nasty, would go on for days, and then we're both saying nasty things you can't take back. And that's not something that I choose to participate in. Um, yeah, just don't have to. So, with all that said, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have learned better. I'm grateful to be able to share something and some perspective with people who may have a similar experience because it's very complex stuff. I love my mother. I love my mother, but she's not a healthy, safe person for me to be around majority of the time. Um, and I've learned to accept that she's not going to change, and I probably won't either. We're both doing the best we can. That doesn't always mean that it meets in the middle. And that awareness out as well, helps me manage my expectations with other friendships and relationships that I have in my life. And I'm just so grateful to be in a space where I can have that clarity without the confusion of the chaos, that exists back home. It reminds me every time, like, yes, that's why I feel healthier, better here. Um, Good for me. Good for me. I don't need nobody, like Erica Badu said, I don't need nobody to clap for me, child. This is, it is what it is. Okay, we got the volume, baby. We got the volume. And this is, that's hairspray. Let's see if it's any left. No. All of these are Mika. I love this brand. The tool was also a Mika. So this is a Top Shine Gloss Spray. I don't really use this one a lot, but I'm getting ready to use it. This is the anti-humidity spray. This is something I love, and it's absolutely necessary here in New Orleans. And this is the touchable hairspray, which I'm out of all of these. I did a piece recently on how to um manage your beauty in between the bag, you know, make things a little more cost effective for us. These are the trial sizes or travel sizes that I mentioned in that piece. All these are travel sizes. And they also work really well when a sis gotta go check in. Shakeable, movable. That's what I love about that too. Now, will this little bump last? No. Not unless I had some hairspray. And I haven't tried it yet too, where you can roll it like that and then pin it. I'm going to try that soon. So you can kind of almost do more like a little set, but it's cute for now. All right, y'all. Well, I know I rambled a bit. Um, but I hope that transparency in some way helps somebody. If nothing else, just to feel seen and heard. These again, when it specifically comes to something like emotional abuse, it's not something that people can see. It's not like somebody's punching you in the face. It is something that is very complex, and it's woven deep in the thread, and it can be very subtle, and easily triggered. Um, and I don't care who it is. Nobody's entitled to make you feel like you're not a human being, like you're not a worthy person. Nobody's entitled to do that. I don't care if they're your mother. I don't care if they're your father. I don't care what the title is. Nobody who loves you um should make you feel that way. So I hope that reaches somebody. Anywho, until next week, y'all, for Turn Down Service, hopefully I will be here again and we'll see how the skin is looking. We'll go through the skin routine. But I love y'all. And also, just to wrap up as well, I just did another think piece about the beauty industry being dangerous for Black women. What would Iman do? Just some reflections on her career, her activism, and my own reflections over 20 plus years in this business. I don't have the answers, but it's definitely some things in there that we all can, think about, and what looks like safety to us these days. So yeah, shouts out to the mamas, the grandmamas. It makes me think of my grandmother, who was also a hairstylist and cosmetologist. So anyway, love y'all. See you next time. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace.